Think of aperture with respect to lenses as the iris in your eyes. Aperture is basically a hole in your camera's lenses that enables light to pass through it. Aperture is a term used a lot in the videography and photography world, and by the end of this video, you will know exactly what aperture is and how to use it in a conversation. Hello everybody, Alan Northern here giving you filmmaking tips and tricks, and by the end of this video you are going to know exactly what aperture is so well that you're going to go home and tell all your family and friends about it. So if you're excited, please give this video a like and let's get started. Okay, so let's talk about the human body a little bit. Bear with me. The iris diaphragm in your eye opens up really wide when it's dark. Why? Because you're trying to let as much light as possible in, because it's dark, you can't see anything. When it's very sunny outside and it's really bright, your eye's irises close. Because it's extremely bright outside and it has a lot of light, your eye's iris doesn't need to be opened up fully in order to see what's around. So what your eye's diaphragm is doing is limiting the amount of light that's going inside of your eye so you don't go blind. Your eye's iris limits the amount of light that enters your eye. Aperture works very similarly. Just like the iris diaphragm limits the amount of light entering your eye, the aperture controls the amount of light entering your lenses. Aperture is basically a hole in your lenses that lets light pass through it. The wider your aperture, the more light will be let through it. The smaller your aperture, the less amount of light will be let through it. And this is where f-stop comes in. An f-stop of 1.2, 1.4, or 1.6 means that your aperture is basically wide open. And that means that a lot of light from its surroundings is going to be able to come in to your camera. On the opposite side of the spectrum, you have an f-stop of, let's say, f22, and that basically means that your aperture is very small. So the amount of light entering your camera, you're limiting it a lot because the surrounding areas are bright. It's sunny outside, there are a lot of lights around, so you're trying to limit the amount of light going in. And this is where the counterintuitive portion comes into play. The bigger the hole, the lower the f-stop number. There's a sex joke in there somewhere. The bigger the hole, the smaller the f-stop number. The smaller the hole, the larger the f-stop number. So now that we have a few terms under our belt, we need to address a few disadvantages and advantages of shooting at different apertures or f-stops. When shooting at f1.4, for instance, you see that you have a very shallow depth of field, that cinematic-like look. Shallow depth of field basically means that there's one thing in your frame that you want to be in focus. Everything else is blurred out. Alternatively, when you shoot at f22, everything's going to be in focus because you have a lot deeper depth of field. So, the lower your f-stop, the more shallow your depth of field will be. The higher your f-stop, the more deep your depth of field will be. Like in here, for instance, I'm shooting at f1.2 because I want the back blurred out and I want me to be the center of attention. If you'd like to pick up the camera I shot this on, just click on the affiliate link below. If you're a filmmaker in desperate need of a clover key, please take a look at one of the links below. And if you'd like to take a look at one of my films, please take a look at one of the links below. It's called The Brotherhood on Amazon Prime for free. Thanks everyone, please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already, and I will talk to you later. Peace.